Yeah, now, John, Manchester City 16 points clear. They're clearly going to win the Premier League. And what's interesting to me is I don't in any way want to detract from what Guardiola has achieved this season. But when you look at the clubs that you would expect to be the challengers, namely Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham, and Chelsea, of course, for one reason or another, they're all in disarray. We could start with Arsenal, John. They allowed Sanchez's contract to run out. He was free to walk in June, so they've swapped him and got a few quid from Manchester United, swapped him for Mkhitaryan, and they've also given Ozil a £300,000 a week new deal. They do appear to be in a mess, because this fella Aubameyang, who's supposed to start tomorrow, apparently now he's got a fever and won't play, and his record at Dortmund is for being a bad boy, very temperamental, scores a lot of goals when he's on, but he's not always on.
No, well, I don't know much about him. Well, I know a bit about him, haven't read in the papers, never seen him play. But I think what's happened at Arsenal is actually the end of Wenger, who's done a great job for them over the year. I don't think he's in charge of the recruitment anymore, Eamon. He did say at the end of last season that if there's a director of football, he'll be out. Well, they don't have a director of football, but they have a head of recruitment. Yeah. And he's obviously doing all the deals. I don't think, for example, that the Aubameyang, is that his name? Aubameyang? Yeah. I don't think Wenger would buy him at any time.
No, or maybe
Wenger over.
Maybe Mkhitaryan as well, John, isn't exactly a stout-hearted fellow. I mean, he's technically good, but he wasn't able to cope with the pressure of playing for United, and didn't always look as if the intensity of the Premier League suited him.
No, but Eamon, he's always behaved himself.
Yep.
I mean, this guy's coming in now. He looks like a junior Balotelli.
Yep.
No, he's trouble. Eamon, he's had trouble at Dortmund, as we know. He's had trouble wherever he's been. Wenger would never have bought a player with him when he was in charge, like him.
So
no way. That's a biggie, Eamon. You know, the recruitment, if you're not in head of the recruitment or director for whatever you're supposed to be, that Wenger's had, and one of the great things they've had at Arsenal over the years, then it's a mess.
Yeah,
and it's proven.
The Swansea result bears that out. 3-1 to lose 3-1 to Swansea. They're the teams that Arsenal usually cruise past. And you're saying that Wenger is just there now. And really, he's maybe the head coach, but he's not. Wenger and Ferguson were the two guys who always had control. Now, Ferguson's retired. Wenger's accepted the situation, presumably because at 67 years of age, he doesn't feel he wants to go somewhere else and start a new project.
Well, he probably feels that way, Eamon. But I'm surprised at him, really. He did say last year, if a director of football comes in here, I'm out. Now he's still there. He's playing the game. I'm surprised at him, and I'm disappointed in him. I'm disappointed for him because he's been a great manager for Arsenal, and I think he's lost total control of the situation there. And I'd be amazed if he goes beyond. Into next season. Well, they might want him to stay as head coach. He might stay. Who knows? But I didn't think he would stand for the situation or put up with the situation as it is today.
Just looking at it in purely footballing terms, John, we know that Mesut Ozil is erratic, let's say. He doesn't always look as if he cares an awful lot, but that might be just, an illusion. He may care an awful lot, but he is now the main man. With Sanchez gone, he's the highest paid player. He should be the leader. I'd be very, very concerned if I was an Arsenal fan that he won't lead.
Well, he's never led, Eamon.
No.
He's anything but. Actually, any time it gets tough, he's gone.
Yeah.
And, I think it's been very, very significant in the window. There were a couple of big clubs chasing Sanchez. I haven't heard of any club being interested in Ozil.
No.
And they're paying him the money. Again, you see, Wenger's not in charge of the situation, and you get these crazy things.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not a leader by any way. He's anything but.
Yeah.
But but when you get somebody in charge of, who's coming in, who's going out, and who's going down, this is what you're going to get. And that's why it's a mess for Arsenal. I don't see any future for them at all. I don't see any future for Wenger in any way whatsoever.
No, and they're 8 points outside the Champions League places, the top four. So that means the day of reckoning is coming at Arsenal, because their whole model for 20 years was based on top four finish, Champions League, and make 40 or 50 million a year. Now, I want to move on, John.
I'm building a new stadium, Eamon.
Oh, yeah, they built a new stadium and they made that transition from hybrid